Tonight, I am going to be delving into my pre-birth story. It is part of my spiritual journey, and for me, I believe it's the right starting point to get into my spiritual journey up to this point. So my life began before August 24th, 1974. I do not remember much about my first attempt at life, or if it was even just my first, but it was definitely the first attempt into this current timeline. Whatever happened, I was returned to heaven, if that's how you believe in, or if that's the word you use, heaven. When I was there, it was not called or considered heaven. I didn't feel like it was heaven. I didn't feel like there was a name to it. It just was what it was. I knew it as home. And the being that was with me, I knew as Father. I remember standing on top of clouds outside of what I refer to as the city of heaven. I was very distraught. I was back. My journey had failed. I was very emotional, very hurt, very rejected. I felt a lot of negativity for my life, my first attempt at life, my first incarnation, not working out. I was so distraught by it. I wanted to go back into heaven. I didn't want to be in this life. I didn't like this, whatever happened to me. And I don't have that memory of what exactly happened that didn't work out. I just know that it didn't work out, and Father Source was consoling me, and he told me that he felt like he had a new family for me that was going to be just perfect, that my new mom had been praying for another kid, and that she'd been praying, and I didn't want to be a part of it. I was not interested. I didn't want to come back to Earth. I didn't want to be a human again. I was so against it. But God, Father, Source, took my hand, and we rode the rain back down to Earth. Now, when I say we rode the rain, that's what it felt like to me. But now that I'm this age, I realize what we were seeing was the passing stars, the passing universes, all the solar systems. And Source took me down to what would eventually become my childhood home. In the living room, my future mother was sitting on the couch that was against the back wall of our living room, and to the right was a doorway that opened into our kitchen and dining room. And my soon-to-be two older brothers and my father were in the kitchen, and I believe they were playing some kind of board games. They were doing something that it looked a lot of fun. And Source was with me, and what I want to describe Source as is not any physical body or even physical characteristics. I knew it was a being. I knew he held my hand. I knew he was there. I felt him. But as far as seeing a physical body, I saw more of the outline, the shape, and just there was an understanding in my mind, though I don't think I had a mind then, my soul, that this was Source. This was the higher power. This was what everyone refers to as God. So he took me down to this family and showed me about 5 or 10 minutes of how excited they would be for me to join the family. My mom had been praying for another child, and I'm pretty sure she was already pregnant at that time. But that was the convincing that it took for me to accept coming back to Earth. I had to really feel like this family wanted me and needed me, and that I was going to be loved and accepted. And so back to heaven we went. And I remember having a conversation, though it wasn't necessarily words that were spoken. It was just an understanding, conversations that happened, I don't know, telekinetically, psychically. I don't even know how to explain it. I just know that it happened. I know that I had to choose the life experiences that I would have. And I knew that there were things that I really wanted to experience because I remember a lot of other beings and souls in this place telling me about the experiences of life. And like what really stuck out to me for whatever reason was sex. Like for whatever reason, that was what I really wanted to experience. I wanted to know what that was all about. And it's kind of strange. I'm sure there were more things than just sex, but I just remember for whatever reason, that was something that had a huge draw for me. But it was very little to do with the actuality of me having this pre-birth memory. The things that I chose were being an addict, trauma, abuse, addiction, alcoholism, everything that I would experience in this lifetime that would shape my life here on Earth. On cue, Mr. Spirit Guide comes and gives me love. You're the best, kitty. I love you so much. So anyway, I came back to Earth, this time by myself. I rode the rain down, back, and then the next thing I remember was being a toddler. And there's a very, very important thing that happened. I'm gonna have to remove Mr. Kitty because Mr. Kitty is hogging the camera and interrupting the story.
Anyway, so, and then I can also go back to, and then I go back usually to your decision to come here. So I have pre-life memory of being in that place where you talk to, I call them the High Council, where you're deciding what you're going to do in this lifetime, what you bring with you as far as what needs to be healed, what you bring with you that are talents and gifts, and also life purpose, so you can go there and see what's there. Now, when I had my experience doing this, I actually I believe this is what I picked up from that experience. I was meditating, and then I was just in this other place, and I was in the place where we make that decision to come here. And I was talking to my guides. I believe my parents, my mother was pregnant already, and I was hovering around the body around these people, trying to see what to do, what they're like, what's going on here. And what I didn't like these people. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I have deeper understanding now. So what I saw them, I saw their energetic fields, I saw what was going on. I was back there in the place where we make these decisions, and I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like, I don't think I want to do this. And they're like, no, you really need to do this. We decided, blah, this kind of thing. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't like those people. And it was a man, and he looked very wise. And I saw the place. It was absolutely beautiful. A city. I think it was a city. I don't know what they call it there. But crystalline, selenite-looking buildings off in the distance, absolutely beautiful. Everything is like goldeny with tones of other colors and white, just beautiful. Great experience. Anyway, so after that experience, I've gotten a lot more information about the family and the dynamic and all this stuff. But I came in as a reluctant human. As a friend once said, I am the reluctant human. I wasn't sure I wanted to come here. But I'm okay with it
So
now.
both me and Mark agreed that there's something terribly, terribly wrong here. And there's some kind of vicious, vicious, what's the word? Like demonic, I don't know, demonic element to this reality. And basically he thinks we're, essentially in a soul trap where in the afterlife we are deceived and are basically tricked into reincarnating, and we're caught up in this net or in this cycle where, these dark deities are basically taking advantage of us. And it's a really interesting idea. To me, I really went into detail about my near-death experience, and that idea, like just to me personally, seems very strange because in the realm of pure soul, in the realm of the absolute, you're kind of essentially one with the absolute. And I've mentioned this before, where you essentially don't have all knowledge, but are capable of accessing all knowledge. So the idea of some kind of trickery to me in that context seems illogical. However, on the other hand, I recall very deeply on how upset I was and distraught when I was basically pushed to come back here. And I didn't really feel like I had much of an option. And I just remember that feeling of my heart sinking. And I still think about that a lot. I still think about what exactly was the purpose of that, because it has caused me such tremendous pain to go through that and to be here. And I don't know. Well, anyway, that's the thing though. That's the thing about the realm of the absolute. There's all kinds of contradictions and strangeness when you're talking about eternity, because all that is contains inside of it all that is. And by default, all that is must have all truths contained within it. So whether it's a matrix or a soul trap, or whether we are eternal beings but it creates an infinite amount of souls simultaneously, it all technically or theoretically must be true if it is coming from an infinite source that has all possible potentialities stemming from it. Now, basically, think of a scenario, retro causality, like, that's Wheel of Time in my near-death experience. It did kind of have this like retro causal component to it, where what I was seeing as the past, present, and future were coalescing and mingling with one another. They have a direct effect on each other. So if it's just us from the future recreating the past in endless cycles, if it's a demiurge or some kind of dark deity that is upset and angry and wants to steal our light, or if we're eternal souls and sovereign and free, by default, if we can conceptualize these ideas, then they must all be true to a certain degree.
There. I decided I wanted to share some more of my memories with everyone. So I wrote down a couple bullet points for myself as notes. It's difficult to put this into words chronologically because it's memories from a higher dimension where everything's happening all at once. Everything's known already and understood, and there's total connectedness, and everything's happening at light speed, basically. I remember the goal being how to recreate myself on Earth with the level of understanding and development that I had achieved up there, and in order to be as much like the Creator as I understood Him to be from my own wisdom and experience from previous incarnations. I remember being reluctant to incarnate because I was happy with where I was, and I remember feeling like I wasn't allowed to incarnate down here for a long time, and it was a surprise to me being able to, or being presented the opportunity. The Creator needed me for my wisdom, and it was something only I had at the time. I remember the feeling of giving my consciousness to God to use down here. And it felt serious, like I was giving a gun to a little kid. In that higher dimension, there was nothing greater than what I remember being. As egotistical as that may sound, it just what it felt like. It was the experience. I also remember feeling bad and having a level of guilt, like I had messed stuff up here on Earth in the past too. I consider the Creator to be the Dream Master, and I was being the Master dreamed, so to speak. I was warned of the difficulty I'd have to endure and how dark it was down here. I had a strong message in my DNA which told me not to trust what I see. I awoke when I had this experience in front of the mirror with my teeth, and they made contact for the first time on the right side, and it felt like an electrical circuit closing, and my astral memories and consciousness flooded my body, and it was this huge awakening I had in November 2007. That experience, when it happened, it felt like the most intense feeling of deja vu that you can imagine. Like I had done this 1,000 times before, which was really unique. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'll leave it for the time being. More comes to mind throughout, the more I think of it. It's hard to really get it all down at once, but that was a good start. All right, bye-bye.